All right, so I'm here with Kristen Nicole from Kristen. I gotta turn my mouth on. So today I'm here with Kristen Nicole from Kristen. I had it. Oh, Christine.
Kristen.
Oh, Kristen. All right, so I'm here with Kristen from K Nicole. I'm here with Kristen Nicole from K Nicole Photography, and we are going to be talking about all kinds of things photography, but especially weddings and senior portraits. So Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here. And I'm so happy to see someone in the community having a page like this, because it was on around when I moved here, and it's so helpful.
Hey, happy to do it.
Yeah.
You talked earlier about how you were in the Navy for some time, right? That's how you came here?
Yeah. Yep. I was an air traffic controller in the Navy for 10 years. I was stationed at PAX just shy of 6 years, but it was great, and I kind of got a little delusional and decided to leave the military to be a photographer full time, and very happy with my decision, but it was scary too, for sure.
Sure, yeah. Oh, you're coming from basically a place of high stress, but for the most part, a pretty steady paycheck,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To going out on your own to starting photography. So tell me about how that all happened. Like, why did you choose photography? And then how was it diving in from the Navy to photography?
I always had an interest in photography, and my mom always had a camera in our face growing up, and she kind of had a side business with it, and I just, when you're little, you want to be like your parents, and I think that just always having a camera on you got passed down to me. And when I was stationed in San Diego, I dabbled in a little bit with my downtime, and then fast forward to moving here, I thought that there was nothing to do around here, so I decided to save up and buy a nice camera and just learn it, and that would be what I did during my off time. Then the pandemic hit, and you had so much downtime, so I just knew to university myself to becoming a professional photographer. I got an internship with a wedding photographer in 2020, I think.
So while you were still in the Navy? Okay.
But luckily, I wrote the schedule for my job, so I could make sure that my schedule allowed me to do this internship.
Well, that's convenient.
It was very convenient, and that helped me learn the ropes of a wedding day and how to be. Just because you're a photographer doesn't mean you can photograph a wedding. You have to know the logistical side of it. And that internship happened. She encouraged me to get my LLC, and I did, and I fell in love. And 2.5 years later, I left the Navy for it.
That's awesome. So I know now your business is 100% full-fledged, it's steaming ahead, and that's really, really good. I think a lot of times people think, well, starting a business is hard, and it is, right? What were some of the skills that you learned in the process of getting started?
I think the biggest thing I learned is not being afraid to be told no. Shoot your shot no matter what. This interview happened because I roasted you for not including Taylor Swift brunch,
Oh, yeah.
It's just not being afraid to do things that people might not be okay with. Get out of your comfort zone, really, and don't be afraid to get shot down, because you might get 10 no's, but that one yes will jumpstart your career, and that's exactly what happened for me.
Yeah, and then when it comes to actually managing a wedding, I think a lot of people, maybe some grooms, but definitely some brides, they've got a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety around that. Now you're an air traffic controller. Do some of the skills that you had developed there, do they kind of translate to the wedding space?
So, air traffic control is one of the most stressful jobs you can ever have, because if your pilot tells you that the aircraft's on fire, you have to be okay, what do you want to do? You can't show panic, because then you're just going to induce panic. Everything could be falling apart behind the scenes, but you're still there saying, yeah, we have plenty of time. You look beautiful. Take your time. Don't worry about it. The wedding doesn't start till you get there, and you'll be panicking inside, but you have to keep that cool, calm, and collected mentality, because it's not about your timeline. It's about their wedding.
Yeah. When someone's working with you as a wedding client, what can they expect?
From the moment that someone inquires, they get this 30, 40-page guide about what to expect when working with me, everything that I offer, completely transparent pricing, out the door prices, anything that you can add on, and then just some helpful tips for knowing what you want on your wedding day, and then figuring out if I can provide that for you. Mm-hmm. So it's really about giving you all the information I can so that you can make the best decision, regardless of if it's me as your photographer or someone else, because I don't think people realize that picking a photographer is an extremely important decision, and arguably the most important vendor that you book, because at the end of your wedding day, sure, you can get your flowers preserved in acrylic or whatever they preserve it in, but your photos are the only thing that you have at the end of the day. You might sell your dress, sure, you might frame it. Video too would be another thing, but you can't mount a video on your wall. The photos are literally the only thing tangible that you have to go go away with your wedding day. So making sure that people make that decision emotionally, honestly, and just kind of guiding them through that whole process.
Yeah, that sounds really helpful. Do you have like different styles of photography laid out for someone that they can choose? Or are you kind of like, you have your one particular style, and if they want to work with you, then this is the style that they can expect?
It's definitely the latter. Here is me and my approach. It literally says that in the guide, my approach, and it's more about like giving you the space to enjoy those candid moments, and then I'll help direct you if maybe there's like a Chick-fil-A box in the background or something needs tidying up. But I'm never gonna like interrupt a moment because I want a better shot or something, and that's something that I focus on heavily. And then in kind of like a guided documentary approach, some couples want those magazine-worthy photos, and I can give you those magazine-worthy photos that are realistic. After you look through the guide, we'll go on a call, typically just like a Google Meet call, and I'll ask them like, what's most important to you about your wedding day? And if I kind of get the idea that maybe they aren't aligned with the way that I approach a wedding day, then I'll tell them, because it's not about me making the money, it's about them getting the photographer that fits their day the best. I'm also planning a wedding right now. I'm just so much more aware of that too, and try to be really mindful of like putting the couple first rather than my business.
Yeah.
I think I'm good at just being behind the scenes and noticing little things that might be happening. I'm not an extrovert, so I can't speak from an extrovert's point of view, but some extroverted photographers that I've worked with will be like a part of the moment, and I kind of like to be a little bit separated from it and noticing maybe mom is zipping up the bride's dress, but because I'm a little bit further away, I can see the little sister hiding in the doorway crying too. So I'm able to get that beautiful moment of the bride and her mom, but then I can pan over and see the sister crying. My unwillingness to be in people's bubble is actually an advantage, I guess.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I say, is I want to give you the space to enjoy those moments with some gentle guiding to make sure that you still get the great images that you want.
What's one of the questions that you find a lot of couples tend to not ask that they really should when they're broaching the subject?
The number one thing is ask to see a full wedding gallery. You want to make sure that it's a well-rounded gallery or an option of galleries that you can see. It doesn't matter if the photographer has shot at your venue or not either, because they're professionals for a reason. If your wedding is in October, ask to see some October galleries so that you see like what the light and the colors look like. Ask for like more than one so that you get an idea of like how many photos are in those galleries, what moments did they catch, did you like the way that the couple's portraits looked? That will help you make the decision so much easier.
You know, over and above paying the bills and putting food on the table and all that kind of stuff, why do you like doing wedding photography?
It's really rewarding. My work day, sure, it's on a weekend usually, and it takes me away from doing fun things on weekends, but my typical work day is the best day of someone's lives, a lot of people's lives probably, and getting into like love languages and stuff, and my love language is acts of service, so this is the perfect job for me to just like really feel fulfilled every day. I'm like crying editing the gallery for the couple, and then when I deliver it, I'm just like on the edge of my seat, like I can't wait for them to open it. I'm just like beaming all day waiting for them to see it, and then that one email saying like, oh my god, we love the photos, it's all worth it with that one email too, regardless of the pay.
Sure, I'm sure that's got to feel great.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
What do you think you're looking forward to most over the next year or two?
Freedom, like being my own boss is really cool and I'm learning how to like manage my schedule to fit my life. I know there's a saying, why are people living to work instead of working to live? And being in the military, I'm so proud of like my time that I served, and I wouldn't take it back for anything, but your life is devoted to the military when you're in, and now I can work so that I can live. I just have this freedom in life to, if I want to go visit my parents who live really far away, I can for 2 weeks and I can still get work done while I'm there, and that's amazing.
That's awesome. Is there anything else that you feel like we haven't covered that you'd want to communicate?
I think people forget having a wedding in general is a luxury because it's expensive. Stuff is expensive, and having a photographer is a luxury on top of already a luxury wedding, and then having like a planner and having a DJ and like all of these things. So like I don't think everyone should be expected to have these $60,000, $100,000 weddings, but like figure out what's important to you and then make sure that you get a wedding, insert vendor name here. Like if a DJ is your most important thing, you want a pop-in party, get a wedding DJ. Don't get your friend that like DJs at the Rex every Thursday or something, you know. Like you have to have someone that has experience as a wedding vendor. If you really really want good photos, maybe don't go with a planner. Maybe get your friend that DJs at the Rex and then hire a wedding photographer. If you just want the day documented and you're not worried about the print worthiness, it's okay to not prioritize photography, then just get someone that can do the job. But if you really want good photos, get a wedding photographer. That goes for all the vendors.
Yeah, that's a great point. Are there different prices on your part for either like a larger wedding versus a smaller one?
I have a package just for, I call it an intimate ceremony because that kind of covers guests under 50 because it's a little bit slower paced day and usually only like 4 hours of photography coverage, and that'll cover like an elopement too if someone were to do like a courthouse wedding and then some photos after, and then I do like full wedding days that are 8 to 10 hours.
Gotcha. Cool. So switching gears a little bit, we've been talking a lot about weddings. You've got a lot of these high school seniors that are making this big step into their lives and they want to capture those moments, so they call you. But what are the things that they're looking for the most?
I think social media is a big deal for seniors, high school kids in general at this point. I wouldn't say I'm new to seniors anymore, but a senior photographer from 5 years ago would photograph a senior differently than they would now because of,
I'm sure,
TikTok. And honestly, I think the approach to it is a little bit better, that people want to like feel like themselves in their photos. They don't want like these like airbrushed fake skin and fancy lights, and they want to like feel like they're out with their friends shooting.
Right. They don't want to feel like they're at this like pose of looking like this.
And they want to look like natural and candid and effortless and almost kind of like a celebrity a little bit. So that's really important, is like empowering. I'm going to talk about girls a lot because mostly girls do senior photos. I'm more than happy to photograph a guy too, but it's just not as common. But these girls like want to feel good about themselves and want to have these photos that like, you know, document a really special time in their lives. It's going to be the parents' last photos of their kid as a kid. The next time they'll have a photo of them, it's going to be like, I don't know, a formal at college, and they're an adult at that point.
Yeah. What do you think are the biggest fears or worries for one of your senior clients?
I think a lot of people think that like they don't know how to pose or like what to do in their photos or where to go. For my senior sessions, you literally have to show up and bring a pair of shoes. That's it. Because you can't rent shoes.
Sure.
So I provide the hair and makeup, I provide the wardrobe for you, and I have a whole questionnaire that you fill out asking like, what's your vibe? Like, do you want to go run in the grass? Do you want to go on the beach? Do you want to go maybe in Leonard Town Square? We can go to Annapolis or DC too. Then I'll provide locations. So I plan your whole session for you with your input, and I tell you where to be, when to be there, and you'll get your hair and makeup done. I'll go get the clothes that you picked out, and I literally do all the work for you.
Wow, that's incredible. For the folks that are watching this video and they're really interested in learning more about either the wedding photography or the senior photography, where can they either learn more about you, see some of your portfolio, or just get in touch?
I am very active on Instagram. So my Instagram is hey.nicole.photography. I share all the time about like my updated availability, and my website is knicolephotography.com.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing more about what you're doing. And I think that for all the folks that are wanting somebody who's going to be just like a cool rock in their stressful time and make that stressful time a really happy, joyful time and make it what it should be, I think you'd be a great fit for them. So
thank you so
very much.
Yeah, it's nice to meet you.
All right. Likewise.